Hola YouTube, my name is Ricardo Lino, and I'm a wheel addict. Welcome to another skate talk. After the last skate talk with John Julio, which is right now 41 years old, I thought it was cool to keep that age. So without no further ado, I'm gonna call Remy Cadier, just like the watches. Cadier, I think that's how you say it. So let's call him and let's see how you say his name. By the way, he lives in Amsterdam. So let's see what's up with Remy.
Good evening.
What's up? How you doing, Remy?
Yes, I'm fine, man. And yourself?
I'm good. I've been learning. I just learned one new French word, or at least a French name.
At least a French name, that's right.
Okay, so for those people listening to this that don't know you, which I don't believe there might be any, but anyway, if there's anyone listening to this who don't know you, do you want to tell to the listeners who's Remy Cadier?
Yes, I'm, as they say in our little bubble, I'm an OG blader since the beginning of the 90s. Of course, like many of us playing on skateboards before we knew about rollerblades. So I started blading in 94. One of my inspirations to start was actually Mark Heineken, one of the founders of Senate. He used to live in Amsterdam, and he would skate the museum square halfpipe with a big fake Viking tail and this one of those stupid flyaway helmets. But to me, it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. I used to go there to the Museumplein to write graffiti and to play basketball, and it was like one of the writers' benches. So I would be there with all my graffiti buddies, and there were hardly any bladers back then, but there were a few who caught my eye. And then finally, when I had a birthday, and I was really shit poor when I was growing up, but I had a birthday and I saved some money, and then I'd made a friend, an inline skater there, whose name was Guno Kroni. He's like a real O.G. guy.
Does he still skate?
He skates a little bit, yes. He doesn't skate aggressive much anymore because he's 45, I think, already. That's old to me
come
now,
on,
but
not because he's 45, because there's other things in life, but not the age.
This is, yeah, well, look who's talking. But so started blading back in the 90s, and that was even before the skateboarders knew that we were gay. And
did you just say that?
I did.
Let me guess, you're wearing all the colors available in the world right now.
Of course. But so that's my start in blading, and I was really lucky to start blading in Amsterdam, because it's like if you've traveled the world by plane, then if you want to go to Europe, there are like a few hub airports, and also like nowadays you can smoke weed and hash everywhere, but back in the day, like in the United States, if you were there, it's really hard to come by, and Americans, if they want to go to Europe, they think, well, we're going to Amsterdam first. So that's the reason why a lot of the rollerblading tours came by Amsterdam, and also because we'd already had like a scene established way back in the day. There were some, like I said, some OG heads.
And you had one of the biggest shops in Europe back then, right?
Yes, we had Rodolfo's, and who sadly they just closed down like three weeks or like a month ago.
Do you think were they just inline skating, or were they also skateboarding?
No, that it was a skateboarding shop, or actually a roller skating shop in the beginning. I think roller skating and skateboarding and some surf stuff, because that was like the oldest skate shop in Europe. They started in 1978. Mm-hmm. When rollerblading became big, and they'd always been selling Vans and stuff. Like that was one of the places, like, the sneaker business now is really huge, and people have custom sneakers and stuff. But a lot of people don't know that Vans, like the skateboard sneaker.
This podcast is sponsored by Anchor. If you didn't know what Anchor is the platform that I use to upload my podcasts. Basically, I just upload my podcasts here, and then they make the distribution for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so on. It is free, and they still allow me to monetize this podcast even without having a minimum amount of listeners, which is quite cool. They make the connections with the sponsors, with them being one of the sponsors. It's a way to make a little bit of extra cash. I can upload them from my phone, from my computer, even without having this fancy gear that I'm actually using right now. So Anchor is quite cool because it's a one place for you to do everything related to podcasts. So if you want to search or if you want to get into Anchor, make sure to go on anchor.fm, or you can use the free Anchor app.
Brand used to also do like IDs. You could go to Rodolfo's and you'd have like the two models that they actually had back then. And you would say, well, I want that color and those color laces. And they would actually send a fax out to California, I think, where they were based.
In South California.
And then like 2 months later, you would get your and that's actually also the place where I bought my first pair of skates. And actually, I think when I bought my skates there, I think that Brooke Howard Smith was even working there. Like
what? I didn't know that Brooke Howard Smith worked in Amsterdam. That's a new one. How old were you back then?
I was 16, turning 17, and he was, I think he stayed in Amsterdam for like a year or two. I'm not quite sure. And of course you had like Mark and Vera, because for people that know all cool brands, 976, that was Mark Heineken, who's like a co-founder of Senate, his wife. And she started 976 clothing, or Lawn Rings, 976 Lawn Rings to be totally precise. And like the Senate team was pretty cool, but 976 team was also like full with stylish skaters. And I think some of the clothes of 976 were much cooler maybe even than Senate, to me, as being like not like really young anymore, like
without all that age and all that wanna shine somehow that Senate had, right? Which I used to love back then. I was younger, so I used to love Senate so much.
Of course, we all did, because, especially when we found out that people were kind of hating on rollerblading, you wanted to have like the rebellious side. Yeah. But we knew Mark and Vera from the start, and I even made some drawings in one of Brooke Howard Smith's black books, and coined a little phrase which later popped up with Medium, and which I still see people hashtagging now, which is pretty funny. And it's I don't know if you heard about it. It's a Soccer Bladers roll.
No, I never heard.
Soccer Bladers roll. You remember that Roaches had the shirts that said Rollerbladers suck. And I remember in Amsterdam, all of the skateboarders were wearing the Roaches shirts, even though it was an Inline brand, because they thought, rollerbladers suck. And obviously
and they were supporting the skating industry. That's awesome.
And obviously that was like a dig from Roaches to Rollerblade. And then I just switched it up and made Soccer Bladers roll out of it, and it kind of took on a life from there. But it was pretty funny because we were unable to get Rollerblade in the north of Holland, or actually there was one place in the south of Holland where like a few guys had them, like Randy Abels and Sven Boekorst. Those guys, they had them in the beginning, and for us it was just impossible to find. So, but we all were like, Amsterdam was totally a Roaches city. So
I remember that's kind of the start. I don't know which Oaks was it. Was it Oaks 3? Yeah, Oaks 3.
Where?
Yeah, Oaks 3. That they had a part in Amsterdam with Tom Alquist. I think that was it, huh? If I'm not wrong, I might be mistaken.
No, that's it. Yeah. Tom Alquist, also a good friend from back in the day.
Which still skates? Tom Alquist still skates, huh?
He's probably from the old guys. I think he probably can still give John Julio a run for his money in blading.
Yeah,
because
from
I
what
think
I've
Tom,
seen, in the bowl at
Tom
least,
is
amazing.
100%. Yeah, Tom is, I think, maybe a little bit older than I am, or about the same.
So if you would play a
It
game
was a
of blading with
brilliant
Tom
time.
Aquis, who would win?
Oh, Tom. Well, that kind of depends who gets to start.
Or which bowl, maybe.
Yes,
Because
but
you're amazing still, man. It's weird to see you skating. Like when I see you skating in a bowl, for people listening to this, and I mean, wanting or not, there's some names in skateboarding that you will always know. Something like Steve Caballero, you will always know Steve Caballero. So when I look at you skating, I would think of Steve Caballero on inline skates. It's just like that control. It doesn't matter. Like I think you're gonna be 60 and you're gonna have the same amount of control, doing airs like perfectly grabbed and like everything just on point. So that would be sick to see a game of you and Tom, because Tom was always like, yeah, he could do clean tricks from what I used to see, but he was more like that. I would compare him to nowadays something like more like Joe Atkinson a few years ago, like Matthew Heineman, like that freestyle. I don't know, just like different. I don't know how to explain.
Yeah, totally. But it's such a great style, though.
I love it. I'm not saying good or bad. It's just different. We need different. We don't need everyone to be the same. So it's amazing.
Tom was like a very big example of how European bladers could also have that kind of pro shine and status for us. Because I remember like a lot of the greatest skaters from Europe in the 90s, they came from roller skating, obviously. Like Toto Gali.
Yeah, René.
Like Toto is one of my all-time huge inspirations, and like he's also the guy who came, because the guys from Marseille, they always came to Amsterdam, and us Amsterdam guys, we would go to Marseille because they would sleep on our floors, we'd sleep on their floors, and there would be a lot of smoking and a lot of skating. And Toto is actually one of the first guys to like open a door in my mind, because before, when we started skating halfpipe, it was all about, even before we would really start grinding, we would do airs, just airs and hand plants, but straight airs, up and down, and trying to go as high as you can, because that was like the only thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he came up, and he was actually still skating on
roller
quads then, and he told me, hey, what you need to do is you need to go alley-oop and you need to go round. Like, I can see you have nice high airs, this is cool, but if you go round and keep going, you'll eventually be able to travel, like from left to right or right to left, going.
Yeah, but back then the ramps used to be also a lot thinner, right? The ramps used to be like really thin. So,
but the ramp I grew up skating wasn't, because it's that ramp is, like you said, it's also in the Hoax 3, and
is that actually, the vert ramp that it's still there, or it was still there until like last year? I think Alex Bernster skated. Is that the one?
No, it's a totally different one. No, it had a wood frame. That was actually a ramp. It's a funny story. Ramp I learned to skate on, and for instance, I think that Mark Heineken learned to skate on that ramp, and everybody from Holland that was anybody in a halfpipe learned to properly skate that thing. That ramp was so old that the transitions were from like one of the first halfpipes in Holland, and that halfpipe was so old that it didn't have a flat. You remember the half pipe?
I remember like the pipe
that didn't have a flat, and also
that.
didn't have a platform.
Yeah.
So there were no lip tricks. You couldn't stand on top, and nobody would do drop-ins. You would just go on the bottom and then skate up. Because we obviously in Holland we didn't have any bowls and stuff, pools, and they took that transition and then they brought it to a Powell. Like a Powell Peralta's, like an old school skateboard brand. They had one of the first indoor skate parks, which wasn't really even a skate park. It was a place where they built a halfpipe, and it was that halfpipe. And then after a while, they brought that halfpipe to the museum square, and it was pretty wide, but there were always holes in it, so you would tend to skate.
You would need to avoid them.
Yeah, back and forth on the left side, back and forth in the middle, back and forth on the right side. But then Toto was like, no, you know where all the holes are. You skate this ramp every day. So from that on, it opened the door in my head, and that also gave way to being able to carve ramps and to do grinds with speed. And from then, I remember like the first time I ever skated a bowl after that was obviously in Marseille, because there weren't many bowls or skate parks at all.
And it's not just that. I think, you tell me if I'm wrong, but guys in Amsterdam would be a lot harder to be like a winter skater. Nowadays you have indoor skate parks, but back then you were more like a spring, summer skater, while in Marseille they would have like the park all year with good weather. You would have like a lot colder weather, snow and all that.
But can you imagine for a guy like what you said, Tom Alquist from fucking Copenhagen? It was even worse. Even worse for him. But like we had to contend with rain, but he had like ice.
Yeah. And but, I don't know if you ever felt like this, but you know, like when you get injured or you have less time to skate, you end up enjoying it in a different way. So with me, this happened before. Like when I get injured, I thought so much about what I wanted to do that when I got back to my skates, I would get injured again right away because I wasn't prepared yet, and I would try to
greedy.
Yes, or I would actually learn a lot of new stuff because I actually thought about it, you know. But I've seen like it's happening. I think it happens a lot. Places where you can skate less times, your sessions are like more concentrated and you end up like progressing more. I don't know. I don't really care about it anymore nowadays, but there was times that I wanted to get better. So
well, you remember when you got to like the daily bread and especially like the first 10, 15 daily breads, there would be a new trick in a new daily bread. You would get the new daily bread. There would be something new. You'd be like,
yes, what? Exactly.
And you'd have, and if there was ice, if in the canals in Amsterdam, we weren't going to be able to skate. But this is also the thing, because people, you know, tend to think, oh, he's skating bowls, he's skating half pipes and mini ramps. He's a ramp skater, because, you know, back in the day you had qualification. This guy, he's a street skater, but he only does rails. This guy, he only does curbs. This guy only does gaps, because it used to be like that a little bit. But since we couldn't skate ramps all winter, and we couldn't skate ramps at night, I'd always been also a street skater. It was just the thing that once I started getting a little bit better, when you skate ramps and are able to do the big airs and the big grinds and the big stuff, it's much more of an eye catcher, because, well, remember that when we started skating street, we would do 2-3 meter grinds, and that would be a good grind.
Of course.
And we would tap a rail with the backslide, which is like 1.5 meters. That were like legit tricks. But at the same time, you had a big half pipe where people were doing layback backflips of 2.5 meters high. So the progression was a bit skewed, because people had been skating ramps much longer than they'd been riding rails. Because just like I saw a clip the other day, and I think probably you saw it on Facebook as well. I think it was the mushroom blading guys that posted it, about this guy, the first roller skater who was skating in a spider style, who started doing 540s in bowls.
McTwist and all that stuff. Yeah, of course.
And that the skateboarders saw that and thought, well, how is that possible? We need to start trying that.
And the same with the inverts. The guy that invented, one of the first guys to do inverts, he still does them. Duke. I just before starting recording this, I just saw a clip of him on Facebook. So he still skates, which is amazing.
That's fucking amazing. But yeah, to get back to the fucking winter skating, that was just, we would skate street. And what you said, it's if you want to go out, and you know, people that ride ramps know this, especially half pipes. When it gets really cold, the ramp gets really, really slow, and when you fall, it hurts very, very much. Same thing on street, hurts a lot, but still, if you warm up on a street session and after and you start getting warm, it's a lot better to do than to skate a big fat half pipe. Also, you know, when we would skate street, we would be wearing the helmets and the knee pads and all that shit. Okay, we would if we skate the half pipe. So that was like a big difference to us as well. We would just wear like the jogging pants, and then we'd have the Senate ultra wides over that, a big hoodie,
like the pajama. You would get that.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of like wearing crash pads a little bit. But it was a bit tougher, and that's what I say when we started going to.
Wait, I'm gonna need to get.
Oh, no,
I'm just gonna need to interrupt you for a second, just because of my baby,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna come back in 30 seconds. Give me a second, okay? Give me a second.
course.
I'll come back.
Yeah. Yeah, and dad life and all about it.
Okay, so I'm back. Good. You there, Remy?
I am here. I am here.
So my baby's sick. He's coughing and all that. So just had to go check if everything is okay. It's all good. It's winter coming here. Summer is coming for you. Winter is coming here.
How's the winter in South Africa? Very cold or not so much?
Not Cape Town. Like, you know what? I would compare Cape Town to Lisbon in Portugal, which is, yeah, for people living here it's cold, you know, but for you guys it's like it's summer all year.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when we go to Barcelona in January, you see all the Barcelona skaters complain, no, it's too cold to skate. We're like, what? Fuck out of here.
Okay, so I got one more question. Not one more, a few more, but like, so you would think, like, after what you just said, I would say that if it wasn't for hip hop, you wouldn't start skating because you were really deep into the hip hop scene, right? Graffiti and basketball, and were you into break too? I don't know. And was that the main connection between you guys and the guys from Marseille, or do you think you would be skating if it wasn't for hip hop?
No. I would probably. I would probably be leading a much more boring life than I am now, and I would probably be. I might have done something with playing football or soccer, as the Americans call it, because I could kick a ball like everybody in Europe. We can kick a ball, but that was like one of my passions, which I had to stop when I was 15. Because I had some growing pains in my knees and stuff, and when I got back after the injury, I found that most of my friends had quit the team. So I was like, I didn't. And also, you know, when you play football, say up to like 14, 15, it's fun. And then once you start getting in like the B and the A class, like with a little bit older guys, everybody's that much more focused on trying to win.
And then it's nothing else other than football, right?
Yeah, and to me it was just like, and I was already since when I was quite young, because like if people that know about graffiti know that Amsterdam has had like a healthy growing place for graffiti since like the beginning of the 80s, and I lived which was like every bridge in there, everything was covered in graffiti always, and I was seeing that from when I was really young. So we would cycle on our BMX in the Vondelpark, and we'd see these guys. So obviously you get inspired and start scribbling, and then hip hop came into play, and for us, like it's a big part of my life still, and definitely the hip hop led to the graffiti, like, you know, the 4 or 5 elements, as some people say. Because I always thought that's like a real thing, you know. It's a real culture. And also I think about blading, it's a real culture, a little bit younger, but very real. But then when I was getting a lot better at graffiti and going out every night, bombing and doing pieces, I was having a lot of fun. But then the graffiti world it's also like a lot of hate and a lot of anger and a lot of people crossing each other out. And, I got into fights and I started fights, and it was just not a positive place to be, really. And once I started in rollerblading, you could have like a session, and say, for instance, you and me have a session with Joe Atkinson. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we can skate, but Joe Atkinson makes us look like pussies. but the great thing is, we could all three skate a place, and we would all three be happy, and no one would really lose. Obviously, Joe would do the best tricks, but we would do some cool tricks, and we would be very happy. We would get props and give props, and no one really.
In hip hop, I would see that happening in breakdance, something like that. In breakdance, that happens, no? Not like in a battle, but like when
really not so much. Yeah, with graffiti, it's very much a thing that, okay, this is like the top spot in Amsterdam. Everybody wants to be there, and you could go there and like paint a burner, and people would be fucking jealous, and they would just cross it out. And even anonymous, and you'd be like, oh man, you fucking, you went to so many shops to steal all that paint to do this piece.
Wait. Why did you steal the paint?
Well, this is one of the things, if you, in cultures there, we have things that we think are true. You have to be true to the game, kind of do this stuff in a way. And I must say, well, not really, but in graffiti, like it's not a rule per se, but especially, I don't know how it is nowadays, because I still know a lot of writers, but I'm not really in that world anymore. But back in the 80s and 90s, you were considered like a bit of a bitch if you bought your paint. Like one of the things about graffiti is it's all illegal. If you buy your paint and you go to places where it's allowed to paint, then you're not a graffiti artist. Then you're just someone painting on something.
Dude,
and graffiti
I'm happy that skating is not like that. Imagine going to my shop and steal the wheels.
No. This is the thing. And when I turned 18, I thought, it's not for me anymore. And it kind of coincided with me becoming better at blading and seeing what a brotherhood blading is, and how fucking cutthroat graffiti world was or is. Because there's also a thing with graffiti. If you really want to do it well, then you're going to get caught eventually. It's going to cost you time and money and problems. And especially when you're really young, you're going to be afraid because your parents kick your ass. Whereas in skating, obviously, we have to put in work as well. And you're going to get hurt. Anybody that's anything in blading has gotten like numerous horrible injuries, but this is kind of the thing, it's actually, if you look at it like, I'm 41 and I have some time to look back, people that do basketball or baseball or football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, everybody has stupid injuries.
Yeah, but it's part of it, man. You have injuries just crossing the road, man. I keep saying this. I say the same to everyone. A lot of times people ask me, but is it dangerous? And I ask them, like, how many people die every day just crossing the road? It's exactly. It's everything is subjective, There's people are different, situations are different, so you can't really judge it by having a pair of skates or by having wheels under your feet. It is what it is.
Know your limits. Live to skate another day, as like one of the rollerblade mod. And to graffiti thing up, I really love the scene and I love the whole culture, but it's just a lot of it is very negative. And if you don't have anything to compare it with, and that's your scene, then you're just in the middle of it. But if you do have something to compare it with, like rollerblading, which especially, when I got kind of out of graffiti, we're talking about 97, 98. That was also when I was getting sponsored by the boot companies and getting flown to do shows everywhere to some places and being able to actually make a living off of blading. Well, then you can see that, all right, there's this big positive thing in my life here, and there's another thing which I do really enjoy as well, but it's not positive. It's just not. And I still enjoy seeing graffiti, but then again, I still also enjoy more to see a big fat piece on a train than to see it on some mural place where it's allowed. I'm like, all right, there's two different things. It's like doing, say for instance, the Kelsos, like they're killers on P-rails, but you don't. And obviously, maybe it's a bad example because they both have skated crazy drop rails as well. But it's
they can skate everything. But I think I know what you mean.
Like let's take us for example. We can skate, do lots of shit on a P rail, but we don't want to go and bring it to a drop rail anymore. This is like the difference in graffiti as well. You big risk, big reward, and it's the same in graffiti. But enough about that.
Let's keep going with skating. You said that in like about 98, 97, you started skating for a boot company. I need to correct you in there. Back then it wasn't a boot company. Back then was a skate company because there was no UFS.
yes, you're right. There was,
what company was that?
I started skating for Roaches. That was Team Roaches Holland. That was my team, and I was very fortunate. And it's like a lot of nepotism, just like nowadays. Only there was a little bit more of the cake to be shared compared to now. But I could skate. I could skate demos and shows and stuff. And I was good friends with the guys that were in Team Roaches.
Okay.
And but I must say, by this time, for instance, I'd already been in Daily Bread, so people have already noticed that I could do a trick. But there was a thing. I think it was maybe 96 or 97. There was like the Dutch Championships, and Jose Malin, a longtime friend of mine, and also like the same generation as Toto and Rene Hallgreen and those guys. He was the team manager of Roaches at the time, and we would skate and smoke and party together a lot. And my friends that were on Roaches said, "Can Remy come on the team?" He's like, "No." He's like, he was kind of keeping me away a little bit, or maybe he just didn't want to push up too quick, like earn it first, which is totally fine. And then he said, "Yeah, if you do the Dutch Championships vert, you need to place top 3, and then go to get. And I skated, and back then there were like really a lot of good halfpipe skaters in Holland, and I was definitely not in the top 3 of Holland at that time. Definitely not. I could do some nice lip tricks and stuff, and I had some nice airs, but there were guys doing 720 twist back to back with 720s, 540 switch stuff. I couldn't touch it at all. I just had a nice style and good lip tricks and went high. So then I was skating there, and I skated my heart out, and I think I was 6th or something. And I was pretty happy because the year before I was like 15. And then there was this guy, I think his name was Jacques, and he had, I think, Zero Gravity skate shop, and it was all the way in Maastricht. And obviously nobody knows about Dutch topography, but you have Amsterdam, which is kind of in the middle, and then you have the deepest down in the south is Maastricht, so very, very far away from me, and I would never be there. He said, "Yeah, come skate for my shop." And they had a clothing brand called Hangers as well, which was pretty cool at the time. He said, "I'll hook you up with this and that," and I was really
Hangers,
happy.
was that the brand that made the shoes, Hangers?
Hangers, I think they also did, yes.
They made the shoes with Madman's, wasn't it?
Yes, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually
wasn't that
cool
R.I.P or Hangers? I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry, man. I don't know. Maybe
it was. I'm not fucking. We're talking.
Okay, so whoever listening to this,
21 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was really happy, and I told the guys, and they went to Jose. He's like, "Hey, Remy's being picked up by Jacques from Zero Gravity," and I was like, "Free skates, free clothing, let's have it." And then Jose swooped in. He said, "Yeah, no, I was just joking. I just wanted to see how you did. Yeah, you're on the team. You're on the team." I was like, you motherfucker. But so that was one of my happier moments in the 90s for getting started.
How many people were in the team, in the Roches team, in the Holland Roches team?
At that moment, I would think somewhere like 5 or 6.
Okay. Would any of you guys would get paid, or you end up being on Roches Europe or something like that?
No, I don't
Just
think
skates.
anybody got paid. We got skates, but the thing was with Roches, if you'd skate for them, you would actually not just skate for Roches, but you would skate for the importer of Roches.
Yeah, so it was Time Zone, Hyper.
Exactly. Senet, 976, Rise Above, Cosmo, Hyper, everything you could think of, except for Rollerblade. They imported, and that meant you would get those things as well. So you would skate for Roches, but you'd get all that stuff. It was ridiculous at the time. Like every 3 months we'd go there, and you'd go there with nothing and leave with 2 full bags worth of stuff. And this was also the time where you would have street skates and vert skates. So you would have like
the aluminum frame and the plastic frame.
Exactly, you would have at least 8 pairs of skates a year. Which came, obviously, we threw out the stock wheels and put Cosmos on every one of them. Because they were.
Can you imagine that now? Do you know the price of the Cosmo wheels now? Can you imagine?
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. But that was like a great times, and I think Rome grew also from there because we had like Randy Abels, who also came on the team,
which is still amazing.
Oh yeah, Randy's one of the greatest old bladers in the world for sure. People, he's like 36 now or something. But
I don't know. I know that he's seriously amazing.
Yeah, man, he still kills it. He skates. He only skates for fun nowadays. He doesn't do big rails or stuff.
Doesn't matter.
But he can just, if he finds one, he can just hop on and sit on
surf
it till he. Exactly. He's one of the guys I skate with the most, I think.
And tell me.
But Roches was a fucking amazing time.
And when did Rollerblade? You said that Rollerblade back then wasn't really in the country, but there was, maybe I'm doing like a really big jump, but there was a time that Rollerblade got in, because from what I saw, like some of the best skaters, or at least maybe the 2 most known skaters ever in Holland, they both skated for Rollerblade. One of them still skates for Rollerblade, the other one sadly is not with us anymore. But
exactly, yeah. This was.
You can just say the names for those for those people listening to this.
We're talking about Edwin Wieringh and Sven Boekorst, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 of the most well-known and probably a few of the best bladers in Holland.
In the world.
No doubt. Yeah, in the world as well. For me, the skating for Roches was like, I think I skated for them for like 3 years or something. And after a while, they just had so many people on the team that they had to start cutting people. And I was really lucky because they had some amazing guys on there. Niels Janssen was like the first guy to do a 900 forward in a half pipe, like one of my friends, 44 Niels Janssen. Ty Chris used to hate him because he couldn't do that trick, and Niels could. And you had Theo Earhart and Tim Haars, famous fucking guys in Holland at least. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to cut down the team a little bit, and I could kind of see.
Sorry, I think there was a little cut. I didn't hear what you said.
They wanted to cut some people from the team, and I kind of saw that. But then I was in luck because you spoke about Rodolfo's before, like the oldest skate shop in Europe. The guy that was running it at the time was a BMX guy, and he really liked me. We had kind of the same attitude towards skating and BMXing, and go hard, don't give a fuck style. And he said, "You know what? I hear they're cutting people. Why don't you come and skate for me for Rodolfo's?" And that was actually at the time when, and I must say in between this, I'd also skated shows for Salomon. I'd never skated for the brand directly, but we were skating a half pipe for money, which also they rented out to Salomon, and they just said,
would Salomon let you skate their shows with Rochi skates, or you would need to skate with
No,
Salomon?
no. I would have Salomon skates.
What would Rochi say about it?
What am I gonna say? Because the thing is, like the 1 week we would skate somewhere with the same half pipe, but just the ramp. One set said Adidas and Salomon, because that was back when Adidas and Salomon were still one, and the other was, I think, Roaches and some bank name or something. And officially I was still skating for Roaches, but the shows were for Salomon. And I think the thing was for this half pipe, because this was just a guy who owned a half pipe who kind of ran, and we were skating the ramp for him. And if you say, for instance, you have a skate shop and you wanted to rent the ramp with the guys, if you had the Roaches part on it, then Roaches would pay like half. And if it was Adidas, then Adidas would pay half. And there were certain shops who had deals with certain brands. So that's how that worked. But to get back, I was skating then for Rodolfo's, which I really wanted to, because at that time Roaches had the Fifth Elements, and everybody loved them, and I hated them because my backslides had gone because they were too slippery.
Were too fast,
yeah, I fucking hated that. And I saw that Rollerblade had made the Dirks, the CI5s, and the Daytonas. And Chris Edwards had always been like a big
fan of everyone. Like everyone was fan of him. So
he's a godfather, you know. Carlo is like the style man, but without Chris Edwards, where would we be? So when I skated Rodolfo's, I was able to pick whichever skate I wanted, and still could get all the other brands which I got through the axle. So that was like a happy marriage. And then after a while, Rodolfo's, in the end, it was just me and 3 other guys who were skating for them, and some skateboarders as well. It was like Jesse Ridder, who's like also pretty famous, was also in Daily Bread and did a lot of stuff with Daily Bread. And he had Amnon Klein, like a filmmaker, of course. Amnon, who made Lomp and lots of other cool stuff. And Rashid Bouzid, who's like the first Dutch guy who got 2 pictures in one Daily Bread. One taken in Holland and one taken in California. It was like, all right. Then that stopped. They weren't making enough money on the and they had to let us go. So that was like the first time in years that I wasn't sponsored. And I was riding.
And you were skating the rollerblades, right?
Yes, I was riding the rollerblades, the deluxe at the time. And remember that they had this horrible bulge in the front, like the plastics. It didn't look nice. I'd cut that off. And a lot of people saw that and saw it looked very good. And so they were biting my style. And then I went to skate with Theo to Randy's house. And from there we were supposed to go to like the Frankfurt ASA finals, like in 19. And I remember that we took the train. Me and Theo took the train to Randy's dad's house, who lived all the way in the south of Holland in Vlijmen. And we'd get there, and Theo had brought like a bottle of whiskey, and I had some hash, and we were smoking and drinking in the train. So when we got to Randy's place, we were totally hammered. And and you must know that Randy at the time, I think, was probably 16, something like that, 16, 17. And we got there eventually. Theo, my friend Theo there, he was they had like a sunbed, you know, the solar panel sunbed thing. I'm not sure if I'm saying it's the right thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
A tanning bed, that's the one. And he went on the tanning bed, and of course he was really. So he went to the tanning bed, fell asleep, the fucking guy. And then Randy's mom came in, like, hey, and he was obviously, Theo being Theo, he was stripped totally naked. So we heard like a little We're like, hey, what's going on? All right, we woke him up. Cue to the next morning. Randy's dad he was like a security kind of guy for a big company, and he had to wake up very early in the morning. Rudy Abels. And he banged on our doors like, hey guys, weren't you guys supposed to catch the train at 7 o'clock? And yeah, it's 7 o'clock now. We're like, oh fuck. And he put us in his car. He drove us all the way, I think 100 kilometers further to catch the train, to get the same train. He drove that fast that we would be able to jump in that train, because back in the days it was like if you had a train ticket, it would be for that train. And you couldn't take the next one. You'd have to buy a new one.
And gladly the trains weren't that fast.
Exactly, yeah. So we ended up going to Frankfurt, and there was like a big Dutch and French enclave there. Loads of Americans there. I think John Julio was there. Canadians like John Bergeron and Azikwe. And that was like the only contest in my life ever where I skated all the runs flawlessly. It was ridiculous. You know, if you skate, you know that this just doesn't happen.
Yes, it's a once in a lifetime. I know what you mean. It's like one of those days.
Yeah, so like a perfect half pipe there, and they had a great street course, and I was qualified to skate on both. But I also saw like the guys that were on, like I would have to compete with Bruno Leeuwen and like the big American names. So yeah, I'm never ever going to beat any of these guys on street. So I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to concentrate on this halfpipe thing. And also there I had to skate against Manuel Biliris, Benny Huber, and like really ridiculous guys. Yeah. And but I thought, fuck it, I'll just skate. In the end, I didn't. I think I placed 6th. But Sami Rijman was there, and for those who know, Sami Rijman is like a real wheel addict, and he's like been in it for more than 20 or maybe 30 years now. I don't even know. And he saw me skating apparently, and well, this was like the one contest where I, you know,
skate like
I don't
perfect.
know. Yeah, I don't know how, because we were drinking and smoking a lot and partying with everybody. But I just had. You know, sometimes in halfpipe skating you can just think of a run and link it perfectly, you know, with, say, doing a fakie pile and then going from fakie to fakie in spin topsoil, going back to fakies, you know, exactly linked that. I had no stalls in there, you know, everywhere, like the extension, hand plants, and all the right kind of ingredients. Mm-hmm. And I was just practicing that run like a lot of the time, and just then skating street, skating the ridiculously wide mini ramp there, and I got into a fight with fucking Mike Budnick because he snaked me. If I would get in a fight with this guy now, because I don't know if people know, but he's like an MMA wrestler. So I'm like, hey, I would stay away from that guy. But then in the end, Sami, he came up to me and he gave me his card, and I didn't know who the fuck he was. I'm like, who the fuck are you? He said, yeah, so you skate very nice, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was, of course, already friends with Randy and Sven, who were skating for Rollerblade at the time. And he said, yeah, here's my card. When you get home, call the Dutch Rollerblade office and tell them I sent you. So I was like, yeah, all right, fine, why not? Got back home, forgot all about it. Then 2 weeks later, I thought, my skates are a bit fucked. And then Randy was like, hey man, why don't you call Pepijn, who was like the head of the Rollerblade Holland at the time? And just called him. I said, yeah, I got this card from this guy, I don't know, he's called Sami Rijman, and he said to give you a call. He said, oh, Sami sent you. Oh, well, then come by. And I thought, okay, I'm going to come by and maybe talk to those guys about something. And then I came by and he like had a big box with skates and stuff and everything. Like, yeah, here you go. Like, oh, what? Yeah, you're riding for Rollerblade now. Like, oh, all right. That's how it goes.
No contract.
No. I once, but you know how those things are. And
I know, and I work with it. I still do, and there's some people that still expect that thing. Some people don't, and it's just, I guess it's like, depending where you are, you see things differently. I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, because for me, you know, at the time I was already working and stuff, so I was totally ready to go start buying skates myself. But fortunately, most of my life I never had to resort to putting money in rollerbladers' pockets. Are you crazy? It's like all the pro skaters that never buy any skates. We did other things, because I did so many fucking shows across Europe. I got so many people interested in blading, or probably not me, but the other guys, and I would just be the nice guy to talk to the little grommets and see about here's some old wheels, put them on your fitness skates and take the middle wheels out, start grinding right now.
And tell me, you said that you were already working back then. What were you doing? Because right now you're like full-time in video, right? What were you doing before getting into video, and how did you got into video?
What I was doing, the thing is, when I finished my middle school, I was they told me I was smart enough to go to university or something, but I grew up pretty poor, and I looked at how much money it would cost me to go and do that stuff, and I was already living by myself. And then, of course, I was starting to make money doing half-pipe shows. So we would make enough money in the summer to last all through the winter. So I thought, yeah, fuck school and fuck work. Excuse me, can I say those kinds of words here?
Of course, man. You say whatever you want, man. It's perfect. Your thing.
Yeah, it's late at night, right? No small children listening. But actually, so I didn't really get a good education at all, which was a bit silly in retrospect. Because especially back then, in Holland, you could go, you could get loans to go to school. I didn't know all that stuff, so I was like, all right. And then Rodolfo's, what I skated for, I got a little job there, and that kind of got me into retail, which then led to another job in retail. And then I did skate lessons for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Then I injured my shoulder really bad. I dislocated it, had to have it fixed and everything. So since I was actually a skate teacher, which was like my employment at the time, I was able to get everything fixed with insurance and got my disability payments. And then when I got back from that, like later, took like a good 2.5 years to recover.
How did you got injured? Was it working? Was it like a really fat person that you were teaching or something like that? Or?
No, it wasn't. The thing is, I got injured just street skating.
Okay, but you could put it through the insurance because you could say that you were practicing to get better at what you...
Exactly, something like that. Or even in Holland, you didn't even have to lie about it. You could just say, yeah, I was a stupid idiot.
That's not lying. You're getting better to be able to teach.
It's true, yeah. Doing grinds on handrails, like I'm not sure what you want to teach these kids. But then, all in all, after that, I had to get a job again, and I was already like 23 or 24 at the time. So I got into what I knew. I did retail at Rodolfo's. So I went to work for a little shoe shop because people that know me know I'm quite like you are the wheel addict.
Yeah,
I'm the sneaker addict.
And that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if you were already there or if it just came with that job.
Oh no, the sneaker stuff that came from way before.
I guess that comes hand in hand with the A-pop thing, huh?
That's right.
Graffiti writers love shoes.
That's right. There was a running store just around the corner from my house, and like I said, I grew up with money, so you would fucking be window shopping always. And then I saw I'm really old, 41. I saw the Nike Air Max come out when it came out, and I saw that thing, and you could see through. They had the window, and they looked just much nicer than anything that'd been out then. And I was
Don't tell me you steal them.
No. Never stole any shoes in my life. But that was strictly paint. But I remember saving up for those things like 3/4 of a year until I got my birthday and got some extra money. Went to the store, and obviously they didn't have my size anymore because 3.5 year later, it was like 7 months later. But then they had the Air Max Lite, so I bought that, and that was like really the start of me being a sneakerhead. So skip fast forward to when I was 24, I started working in like a mom and pop's sneaker shop, which was cool because I worked there by myself, and we had a DVD player, and it was right around the corner from Skate Zone Skate Shop.
So you would play skate videos all day.
Yeah, well, not even videos, but exactly. The DVDs was already the thing then, and this was also that internet was starting to grow, and we'd had like a Dutch skate forum, so everybody knew that if you're going to go there, buy your DVD, then afterwards you're going to go to Remy's shop to watch the DVD. And this was the thing. So I'd always have like people in the shop, never buying shoes, but having a good time.
How long did it take you to get fired?
I didn't get fired. The shop, they did some really stupid investments, and they bought some really shitty. I was like, oh man, how the fuck are you gonna ever be able to sell that crap? And then because they first had like 5 shops, then it went to 4, 3. And then when they had 2 shops, it was like the writing was on the wall. And once I started getting problems with payments, because I saw like, hey guys, I was supposed to get paid, guys. Where's my money? Yeah, next week. And then you'd get half in cash and half. They're like, fuck that. So I went to look for another job. And then I started working at Nike. Mm-hmm. And then from Nike, I started from just being like a floor manager to like a stockroom coach to being the assistant manager to having my own shop. But
wait, stop everything. How many shoes do you have?
I don't know.
Okay, keep going.
Less than 300.
Okay.
So that could be anywhere between 200 and 300, but less than 300, more than 200.
Pairs, right?
Yes.
No, not left and right.
No, pairs, boxes. But the working for Nike, that was like a thing. And actually, while I was working for Nike, I started making some decent money. I bought a little camera, like you do, because I had my friend Amnon. Mm-hmm. And he was always a pain in the ass to film with, because he would film stuff. And then you'd get a new pair of skates, and he'd say, yeah, you have to do that trick again. Why? Yeah, you've got new skates, and I'm not going to put any old footage in the video. I'm like, mother. He was really...
Amnon was the best. He's still in the video thing, huh? The video industry.
Yes, definitely, yeah. I work with him sometimes. But he was like a bastard, and I was like, fuck. And he said, yeah, man, nowadays you're only skating bowls, because that was right when the Marnix Bowl in Amsterdam was made, and we're like, fuck street skating, we've got this thing. And he said, no man, skate drop rails, big hammers, fuck the ball.
I don't film ball. Yeah? I can imagine him saying that. I love that.
I was like, okay, fuck you, I'm gonna buy my own little camera. So, and this was like the start, because of just being a little bit pissed off. I thought, fuck it, you know what, I'll just buy a camera and start filming myself. Fuck this shit. And then from then on, it went on, and even, as my kind of career in sneaker world progressed a little bit, I started finding, like, as you do when you start filming your friends and having them film you, that there's like a ton of filmmakers that came out of blading, and not just in Holland, everywhere that people are rollerblading, people are making videos, people are getting into it, because obviously
of skating, just like me, like everyone else.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool profession if you can get it done. And then eventually, when I was still working at Nike, and this was even before I had my own Nike shop, actually not my own, but my own to manage, obviously. Mm-hmm. I had done a course, because I found that when I was, I had the computer, I had a better camera, and I found that there were just little things like light and sound, because as us skaters, obviously, we don't worry too much about anything but the image. We want to have this fisheye.
It needs to be fisheye really close and not to cut anything.
Exactly, and there was a long time where I didn't really want to learn stuff, but then when I did, I started figuring out, well, there's kind of a lot of stuff that I don't know. Mm-hmm. And this is also when I started filming other stuff than skating, because literally filming skating is easy. Filming skating very well is very hard. But
I know exactly what you mean. I don't know it because I do film well. I'm not saying that, but like, Greg Fraser, and I love the way that he works, the way he films, and going out with Greg to film a trick or going out with me, it's two completely different things.
Yeah, exactly. So, but when you start to know a few things, the more you know the things you don't know. So I was lucky enough to do a course, and I'd saved up some money, and this was like one of the busiest years in my life, because my regular career was off, sort of, and I was doing like a course which was like 1 day of homework, 1 day sitting in this school, and the other 5 days, I was managing the shop, sort of as an assistant manager. And whoever's in retail knows that the assistant manager does the heavy lifting.
How long ago was that?
I'm talking 2009 now,
okay.
I think.
Okay.
And then obviously we'd already had like the crisis, which really hit home in 2010. And then the shop I was managing was in Schiphol, in the Amsterdam airport. And the rent there was ridiculous. It's like €25,000 a month. It's like you need to sell a shit ton of Nikes to be able to pay. To pay
rent, to pay you guys to make profit.
Exactly. And it was like if you have a shop on an airport, it's a fucker because it opens at 7 o'clock in the morning and it closes at 10 at night every day.
And also that's there. If you're in Dubai, you're open all day.
Yeah, exactly. So it was pretty fucked up, and I did enjoy it, but it's really hectic, like heavy years. Also because Schiphol is not very close by, you can't just jump on the bike and cycle there. You need to take either the car or a train. So that was a pain in the ass. Then after a while, they decided that their lease was up, and then all of a sudden they said, "Yeah, we're not going to renew the lease. So you guys don't have a shop anymore." And a lot of the guys that were my staff, they could go and work in other shops. But when you're a manager, you're not going to put two managers in one shop. So they were kind of stuck with me. And I told them, well, you want to get rid of me, just fire me and give me some money, and I'm gone, no problem. Obviously, they didn't want to do that. And it was like in the height of the crisis. So I was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? And they tried to fuck with me and put me in shops in Rotterdam, like not my favorite place. And it's far away. And so I was like, oh, damn. So I eventually talked to people from the company, and I got to speak to one guy, which was a nice guy who actually didn't have anything to do with the Nike part of the company, but a different one. And he said, yeah, well, I see that you've actually done quite well for yourself, because this is the thing, if you work for Nike, they keep tabs on everything. And the only people that can actually look into that are the managers. And since I became manager, I thought, yeah, I'm going to take all of everything I ever done, put it in like a little notebook, and that's that. So the guy said, you know what, take some time off, find another job. So I did, found an office job, which was boring as fuck. I hated my life there. It was just like, when you have a job where you're just fighting to stay awake, you're like literally chewing on your tongue to not fall asleep. Like, oh man. So obviously I wasn't very good at that, but the pay was nice. And obviously they let me go. But in Holland, the way is if you get fired, you get unemployment money. If you quit yourself, you get nothing. Mm-hmm. So obviously for the Nike stuff, I wasn't going to quit myself until I had something else. And then also the more you work with a company, the more they're gonna need to pay you. The longer you work with them, the more they're gonna need to pay you, right? Yeah. The longer they pay you, and of course it's like 70% of your last earned money, which for me, since I was making more money at the office job than I was doing at Nike, it wasn't too bad. And the best part for me, which was really lucky, is I went to the people for the unemployment money, and I sat there, and they were saying, yeah, okay, so you have this retail experience, blah, blah, blah. Why are you not working in retail anymore? I said, yeah, because it's mind-numbingly fucked up, and I don't want to go there anymore. And then this woman said, I see that you have a little company that you've written in on your Chamber of Commerce, which I'd had already since 2002 at the time, because that was rewind a long way back. When I was fucked up with my shoulder injury, I had done some contests for Red Bull back when Red Bull was still putting money into blading, mm-hmm. with Gijs Pis. Mm-hmm. Gijs Pis is like the inventor of the real street contest, like even before YTA. This fucking guy. We had done a few contests, and the biggest one was high rollers, which was like we'd invited everyone from the whole world, with Takeshi and his father and Matt Lindenmuth, and Sven was there. We had Chris Edwards as an announcer, and So it was like a $1 million contest. Was ridiculous. Like the last time that Red Bull actually put money in. But to get paid from them, I had to have a little company.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman at the unemployment agency said, I see that you have this company, and how many hours a week do you work on that? And I just lied, because after 2004, I hadn't done anything with it. And I said, yeah, about 10 hours a week. And she said, oh yeah, I see you not made any money. I said, no, writing concepts, just off the cuff bullshit. I just thought, you know what's he gonna know? And then she said, you know what? If you want, since you're working for 10 hours for yourself, you can continue working for yourself 10 hours a week and have your full employment benefits. I was like, no shit. And that was like the moment for me. I actually spoke to one of my friends the other day about this. Oh, actually, my wife. That was the moment for me, because that meant that I would legally be able to work and get more money than just the money that I would get on the dole. And that was for me the start to really get film business off the ground. Because as anybody knows, getting your first start in any new kind of venture is really, really hard.
Yeah, after the first one just comes.
Yeah, because I'd also just bought a house, and I didn't know how I was going to fucking pay my next mortgage, but it was like a little bit of a help. And then from then I had like 18 months. And after 18 months, I was able to say, you know what, I'm not going to apply for any jobs anymore. I'm just going to stick with this filming stuff. And yeah.
That's cool. Were you married already back then? Or
I wasn't.
You married?
I am married. I've been married since 2013.
Okay. That's awesome.
So I have one beautiful baby daughter. Well, not a baby anymore. She would get mad if I tell babies, because she's 2 now. She's 2, so she knows everything.
No, man, you know how you see it's not a baby? If you fly, you don't pay as a baby anymore. I know, because I bought tickets. You know what? I bought tickets yesterday to Amsterdam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm flying. I'm going to be in Europe, and the best ticket that I could find. I need to be in Germany in the end of May, and then I'm going to go to Portugal to see my family, and for my family to see my baby with my wife too. So we're going to fly through Amsterdam. So my wife is going 1 week after me, so I'll be a week just surfing Europe. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing, but I'll talk to you later. I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'll be around.
Well, as long as you bring your skates, you're going to have lots of
fun.
I
will, for sure. That's why I'm going for a week before.
It's good to hear, man. Yeah, it's good to hear. I just came up, normally when you have a house, it doesn't just magically grow an extra room. But I actually had that happen to me like last autumn. Because, I have this house, I bought it, and there's this many rooms, and I have my working room, and I used to have some people stay here. But you know how it is when you have a kid and a wife.
No, you need your own
You don't
space.
want to have a bunch.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I've had many guys over, like any blader who lives anywhere where people want to come, you're going to have friends that find you. But my neighbor came up a while back and he said, you know what, Remy, there's actually an extra room in your attic, which I used to use. And it's kind of like a room which is unclaimed. And he just claimed it already 25 years ago. And he said, you know what, I'm not using it, and it was a bit dirty.
So
it's
your
totally
friend
isolated.
gave you a room. That's amazing.
It's not even my friend. Well, it's a friend now. It's my neighbor. He takes care of my cat when I go, and he's like a cool old guy with a hook for a hand. It's like Captain Hook in real life. And he just said, I have the key, go upstairs. And it was fucked up because I had to take everything out because it was really dirty. But when I did that after one day, I was just like, hey, this is like an extra room. So for me now, it's a place to paint and to build stuff. But also
the man cave.
I a little bit, yeah. No, my man cave. I have a man cave. This is man cave number 2. Like my man cave is also like where I'm sitting right now. My shoe and camera room where I work and have all my computer stuff. But I have an extra little room, And you might have to cut this out because I'm going to have a lot of extra friends wanting to visit Amsterdam.
Okay, we cut this part.
Cut this part because I've had Justin Eisinger from one, and I've had Jan Welch over, and I've known Jan Welch for like literally 21 years.
I know.
And,
I know it's your favorite redhead, huh?
That's right. It's my favorite redhead in the wide world. He stayed here, and normally I wouldn't be able to say, hey, you can come up. But the great thing is it's also outside of my actual living space. So people, they don't get woken up when my daughter Lily starts screaming at night, or when there's other stuff happening. So it's a nice little room. So you're welcome to come.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, man. Now I'm gonna completely change the subject. We're already like in 2013, 2014. We're actually a few months ago when you got the room. Now I'm going back completely to Edwin. Man,
yes.
Not even going to the saddest, but I met Edwin for the first time in 2001 when he first went to San Diego. It was also my first time in San Diego. So the first time I've ever met.
Aren't you guys also in one video together?
After that, yes. But it was from my second trip to San Diego. He was also there in the 4x4 leading the blind.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was with Jan. That was the first time I met Jan, probably. No, second time. I met Jan the first time. But Edwin was like amazing. Like when I first met him, it was, when did you first notice how good he was? Because in 2001, like I just said, it was already seriously amazing.
I think probably 98, something like that. We had a skate park in Zandvoort, in some videos also, and Hoax 3, and he knew me a long time before that, but that's how it is when, I'm not saying that I'm a good skater, but when you're a little bit better than the rest.
It's perfect.
Exactly. You're the sponsored guy, you don't know the young kids, but they do know you. But then all of a sudden, I saw this guy ripping up our pool, which we were killing on a daily basis. And he was doing stuff like full speed, alley-oop topsoul, 540 in. I was like,
in 98.
Yeah, and that looked like sort of like a 450, so you go to forward.
I know, forward again.
And then he came back and he did alley-oop topsoul to 70 in the other way. I was like, motherfucker, you're doing switch alley-oop topsouls in 1998 with spins in. So that kind of got my attention. And he could already do true topsail then, obviously.
Yeah, that was his thing. No one could do it like him. The first day I met him, he was doing it in a ledge in San Diego. That was, when the ledges are not really square, it's kind of like slanted down. If you just try to mark
the skateboard, yeah.
It's not really. It's just weird. It's like an angled ledge.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because if you try to mark your foot will slide out. So if you try to topside, you need to bend, but like overbend. And he was just doing true topsails, but like holding it like I never saw anyone doing. Yeah. That's when I first.
Yeah, he could. He could do true topsouls as long as a normal person could soul grind or mizu.
Or backside.
He just had. He had real good mobility, but he had such strong feet and legs, and it's literally a one of a kind blader. There are like a few people, for instance, say Alex Burston. His true topsoul might be about as good as Edwin's or a bit better, but then there's other things that Alex doesn't have that Edwin did have, and also vice versa. But
it's the same. But Tyron was also amazing in the steel. Like Tyron's true topsoil was like maybe he had a good teacher.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. They did skate together, but Tyron was.
He's from Rotterdam.
He was taught by other. No, he's from Amsterdam. Okay. Don't let him hear you say that.
Okay, sorry, man. Tyron, I didn't say that.
Tyron got his he was from the VIC crew, like. In Amsterdam, like the oldest crew was all, which my crew is like a 40 UH44. That's like the old one. You have the DSA from Almere, Lelystad, and then you have the guys in Rotterdam, guys in the south, 031. And VIC
Adil?
was like
Adil
the second crew.
Which crew was Adil in?
DSA.
Okay.
Yeah. And VIC was like a newer kind of crew, but they were also really hardcore and really great bladers, and they brought him up, and he was like years and years younger than all the other guys, so he would get punished if he would do stuff weak. You know, he'd be like, "Nah, man, you can't step up your machios. Fuck that, no stepping on. Hey, you gonna backslide that shit? Fuck freestyle. You're fucking grabbing that thing." And
he was bullied the whole time, basically.
Yeah, you came off forward, smack. Like nowadays, it's hip to go forward, or maybe not even anymore. But you know these kind of
backslide would need to go backwards back then. Nowadays, it's hard, man. If you do a grab backslide, a proper one to forward, it's hard. Yeah. It's harder, man. Or if you try to do it to fake it the other way, like a 270, it's so hard.
Oh yeah. Of course, backslides are harder nowadays anyway because it's just faster stuff. But Tyron was. I think, you know, if there was someone in Holland to kind of take the crown from Edwin, it might have been Tyron. And the thing is, he still skates every now and then.
I know. He's a lot into gymming.
Yeah, the thing is, he's too muscular at the moment because
he's too strong to skate.
Yeah, not flexible enough.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I filmed the thing with him, like that was also you probably saw it. It was like an edit which was commissioned by an Amsterdam clothing company who actually paid me to make it.
Okay. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't remember if I saw it.
Then you probably haven't, because it's got like the very last clips of Edwin ever.
Oh, I saw that one. I don't remember what clips, but I remember that one. I saw that one.
Yeah, it wasn't the Edwinfinity documentary.
Yes, I know, but I know what you're talking about. I don't remember tricks, but I remember that video with a clothing brand or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was like with Randy Abels, Remy Schmidt, Pascal Tan, Tyron Ballantyne, and Edwin Wieringh, because that was like the
dream team.
I was filming with only the Amsterdammers really, and I was filming with him like 2 days before he died. So I knew that, oh fuck, I've got this very, very last clips, which is a bit fucked. And also he was really excited to go in, because I know there are like edits I made with him which I forgot, because my friend Pascal was also in the edit, the Nuff Said edit. When Edwin died, he went and looked for every fucking thing with Edwin's name on it, and he found edits that Kevin made or that I made that neither of us would have remembered, because obviously with Edwin you'd go out to skate.
Yeah, that was a section. You could film a section in one day.
Yeah, easily, because he would miss some tricks, but he would always make them after, and he would destroy spots like in ways you wouldn't comprehend, because like normal people, you know, you've got your alley-oop sole. Oh, I got the alley-oop sole. Okay, let's try 270 out. Yeah, try it a couple times. Oh, I got it. His start was alley-oop sole 5 out. Well, yeah, okay. Next one, true sole 5 out. And he you know, the tricks he would pull was like, yeah, it's definitely past pro level.
Yeah, I know. Only a very few pros would be. I wouldn't say at that level. It's like he was for sure one of the top skaters, like setting standards. You know what I mean? Like the next big trick, something like that. If that makes sense.
It's kind of like your favorite blader's favorite blader.
Yeah.
And also it's like the only that there aren't that many people that can, for instance, go to like Santee crew and become adopted by them. It's like him and Horn. You know, that I have such a respect for those guys. That helped me out tremendously with making
Damien and Nick. They were really wild.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and Steve Steinmetz, like one of the driving forces in there, and those guys. Yeah, they're fucking. You know, and this is the thing. I feel. Obviously, they're not really friends of mine, but after editing all that shit and being a good friend to Edwin, and those guys are also a good friend of his, it kind of feels like, you know, like a connection. And I could also see that those guys are also really, you know, so many people were really tore up by Edwin's passing. like Jason Adriani as well, you know,
Yeah.
also a good friend of Edwin. So many people, Jan Welch, like you could say that Jan is kind of his, you know,
mentor
I think
somehow.
that Jan,
I know, like he was the first person that really believed in him, and
yeah,
I know, I remember.
yeah,
that.
but Jan knows Edwin from Holland, not from Hamilton.
Yeah, from when he first came,
you know?
for the Lost Call video, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, Jan's been all over the world since forever, because I know Jan from Scum Magazine times. That's like people are saying, what the fuck is Scum Magazine? Well, that's how old we guys are. Scum Magazine is really old magazine. It's like stapled together, black and white, and then later the videos. But yeah, it's getting a bit easier to talk to talk about Edwin now that it's been a little bit longer. But I just rewatched the documentary I made about him like a few weeks ago, because after I made that thing, I was like, all right, to put it online, and then.
How was it to edit that?
Yeah, really hard, man.
I can't imagine how hard it is for you to put like. Obviously, you want to put feelings in a edit, but when there's, I wouldn't say it's a lot of negative feelings, because skating with him was for sure like something amazing, but something that ended the most tragic way that we can imagine. So it must be weird to know exactly what happened and trying to do something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, and even now it's not easy, man. It's
Were you there? Were you at this
no,
party?
no, and this is the thing. He'd invited me, and I was like, yeah, go, but you know how things are, and you know, fucking tired and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go. And for instance, like Eric Droog, like one of our friends here in Holland, also he was there, and he just left. And probably if he was there still, he might have still been alive. But you know, you can't really say that.
There's nothing that you can do. I heard like from Kevin what happened. I know that a lot of people don't know about it. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. It's up to you. I'm not gonna say anything. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I know how tragic it was, and like
it was a drunk accident. That's what you can say. It's a drunk accident, and he ended up falling from his balcony. That's the kind of the cut and dried version. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into it before that stuff happens, but that's kind of the cut and dry, and I don't want to really go into it much more.
It's so weird. Such an athletic guy. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really, like you said.
Yeah, it's fucking alcohol, man. It's a motherfucker. And yeah, what you're gonna do? It's just so surreal. You know, it's not supposed to. You know, at our age, we've been to a few funerals and stuff, but normally at funerals there's a few young people and a lot of old people, and this was just only young people. It's ridiculous,
dude. It's,
you know, I don't know.
It's hard to explain. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if people, you know, if you've seen the
I've seen
the documentary, then you know, it starts with the procession.
I know,
and you see it's like an endless fucking parade of people. There are more people there than at most skate contests. Really, more skaters there as well. And yeah, for me, it was just he was doing a TV program in which he spoke about his life a lot, and I had so much footage of him because I was working on stuff with him. We were going to do a new pro skate edit, or not a pro skate. He was pro for races and he needed to drop stuff, so we were doing something big because he saw what we did with City Hopper. He's like, hey man, come on, let's do something bigger. So I had so much stuff of his, and of course Yuri van der Pol had so much footage. Kevin had so much footage, and then you had these guys that were doing this TV program called the Freestyle Games.
Mm-hmm. I remember
they had interviews with him about him being a bit older and talking about his life after blading. And when I got a hold of that, I already knew, like, okay, this is not going to be a skate edit. This is going to be a documentary laced with some of his skating. And in the end, what I said, I just rewatched it for the first time in a long time a few weeks ago, and it was still a bit hard. But you can imagine for me editing that shit, when I finished it, I was like, all right, it's kind of a labor of love, and you have to get it off of your chest, sort of. You know how people, when you have problems, it sometimes helps to write them down. Well, this is for me was like a. Only the thing is, when you fucking do a documentary of like 22 minutes or something, it's there's just fucking work that goes into it, and also that I didn't want to let all that footage lie and come out with a documentary like 5 years after he died. You know,
of course. No, but the thing is, the reason why I made it a question that I did is, you're just telling me how hard it was for you to see it now. But like editing, it's for those who never edit. I think everyone ever like tried to, not even if they edit a picture to put on Instagram, they know how long it takes to edit a picture. Now, to edit a full documentary, you watch it over and over and over and over and over and listen to everything.
I just took time
and that
off
must
of work.
Have been like the craziest feeling. I don't know.
I took time off of work, and it was of course hard to not do anything because I still had to pay the bills. So I was editing at night, in the evening, and early mornings, and yeah, especially like getting the intro done, because the first stuff, it's like the first few minutes of the documentary are based on an edit I made for his funeral, because his family asked me like, hey, Remy, you want to make we want to show some of his skating, but we don't want to show anything. Can you make an edit? And of course, that's like only like 6 days after his death. So that was one of the hardest things, and especially because I told them, well, you're going to tell me which music you want to put in there, and that made it even harder, because editing that first stuff ultimately was really, really hard. But then after, when I'd done that and went back to the drawing board and kind of took that as the start, or not really the start, but like the basis to work around, because obviously the start was the funeral of the documentary. So I knew kind of that there were certain parts already in my mind how I wanted to make it. But then everybody, like what I said, Jason from Italy, he sent footage. Bas Berghuis, so many people had so much great footage. But also, whoever knew, all of you who know or have known Edwin, knew that he was like a happy guy, always laughing. And then looking through all this footage of failed tricks where he would, because the thing is, he wouldn't get angry or throw with his skates if he missed a trick. He would laugh, and obviously I would laugh if I was that good at blading, but he would just laugh stuff off. And then looking through all the fucking terabytes of footage, finding those laughs, oh man, I had a couple of moments of crying there. And also then afterwards, when you've like say you work for an evening and you have an extra 2 to 3 minutes edited, and you rewatch it when you're really tired, you're like, oh yeah, that was some tough shit. But then again, I also knew that because there's many people in Holland that make skate videos and make very good skate videos, at least I think, then it was kind of up to me, that's at least my opinion, to make this, because of my experience in doing some documentaries, and since I work in film, and now I'm not trying to say that I'm better than anyone at anything in particular, but I just thought that I'm the guy who's here at the moment and has to do it.
But you were also his friend, and you were filming something with him. His parents knew about it, so it would only make sense that one of his closest friends, or one of the persons that might have shared the most sessions with him, would do it. Yeah. So that would... And
I know his parents. I know his brother.
It's amazing
and
what
his
I can tell
girlfriend.
from someone. So I've never seen Edwin's parents before. Of course, I saw them like in a documentary, but I didn't saw them before this year's Winter Clash, and their attitude is something out of this world. I loved it.
Yeah, they still keep in touch, and
I know. They went to Winter Clash. His dad made a tattoo, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. If ever Edwin was going to get a pro skate, then Edwin had a tattoo, very very narcissistic of himself, which is a bit of obviously something I would take the piss out of, obviously, and still can fucking laugh about, because are you going to really take a tattoo, make it, and obviously a tattoo of himself doing a true topsoul. You know, this guy, he know that it was serious to him, and for you or me, you know, I'd fucking laugh. I would laugh you all the way to South Africa and back, but for him, it kind of made sense. And now his dad has the same tattoo, and yeah, it's a thing that if he was going to get a pro skate, he wanted to have that image on the back of the skate, and yeah, so it's a thing. And
that's awesome. He was supposed to have a pro skate soon, but I think I heard. I don't know. I don't want to go negative on any brand, and I love Andy from Razors and everything. So, but I thought they were going to make something with Edwin after what happened, from what I've read, but nothing ended up happening. So I don't know if I
don't know. I don't know if it's my place, but I think something is happening.
Okay.
So well, you know that it's Andy's a good guy, you know, and he knows that in the end, you know, if you get pro skate, it says a little something about that you're actually a good skater. But it says a lot more
that you've done what you've done for the brand.
Well, what you've done for the brand, well, there's not that many people that have skated Razors for such a long time and put out that amount of content as Edwin did. But there's the thing: how many fans do they think you have if you sponsor, say, a Belgian skater? How many Belgian skaters are there? How many people in Belgium are going to buy say an Anthony Potier Pro Razor? And I know he's not skating for Razors, but this was the thing: how many people are there in Holland? There's like 17 million people in Holland, of which a lot of people ice skate and a lot of people rollerblade, but not that many people grind on fucking things. So if I see that, you know, because in my opinion, he should have had a pro skate 6, 7, 8 years ago. You know, with all the people that have been getting pro skates from Razors, there's a couple of people in between there where I think, really, him and not Edwin? All right. But, you know, I coming from a commercial background myself, I totally understand that you have to make decisions based on how many skates you're going to be able to sell.
Yeah,
and
having
obviously
6 pairs of Arrogant skates. He was the best, but the last pair of skates, when it came out, he wasn't skating anymore. But Arrogant was.
Yeah.
They would sell. That's the thing. Also, it's like
exactly
when the last skate came out, he wasn't skating anymore, but the skates would sell. So a brand also needs to see that part, even if sometimes for us that really want skating to be as fair as possible. Sometimes it's
not
unfair.
fair. It's a business.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes it feels unfair. That's what I'm trying to say. So
I totally understand Andy, because you know, I'm not a Razors guy at all, but I have to fucking give respect where it's due. And this is a guy who's sticking with skating, who could be making loads of money doing other things, and he's not.
I know.
And his decisions have made Razors into what it is now. So you can't really hate on that. You know, you could say, well, and Sunshine Distribution, but in the end, Kato, for instance, made the decisions with his heart to yeah, I'm putting those guys on. Say Dominic Wagner, who's an amazing skater, but it's not the same star potential as, say, Chris Haffey. Even though you could put those guys in kind of in a line together, winning big contests, very influential, etc. Like Rems, for instance, is really heart and soul, and Razors is a little bit more with the mind as well. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the way that things are, and especially if you look at we've been looking at shrinking market for a couple of years. I don't think that we're in a shrinking market anymore. Not that I have any numbers or claims to back it up, but when I look around, and like I told you the other day, I looked outside. You said something about bladers on Facebook, as you do. I looked outside. I saw two girls skating on inline skates, and one of them was jumping off of the little curb. And this is the thing, I would love to see everybody do soul grinds, but I would prefer to not see blading die.
The thing is, I'll keep saying the same, and I've been lucky enough to travel. And over the last year, I've been going to a few different places, or even over the last 3-4 years. And man, I'm Portuguese. I remember being the only one in my town, and I remember trying to grow a whole scene in my town. And I'm from a really, really tiny town. Then we ended up creating something in my town. In Lisbon, there was already a lot of skaters. Nowadays, it's completely different. I wouldn't say there's like 10% of the skaters that it used to be. But also, back then, when skater was super, super popular in Portugal, in places like in Brazil or in places like Angola, these two places that I've been in the last year or two or whatever, back then skates weren't available. Like, yes, in Brazil you had guys like Carlos Pianowski, you had Felipe Zambardino, you had a lot more guys. But if you ask
you needed to be in Rio or Sao Paulo.
But even if you were there, if you ask
like
any of
places,
them, the skates were so expensive. But if you go there nowadays, yes, if you buy any of the big brands, they're still expensive. But because the interest was there, the local brands started making their own skates. And if you go to, seriously, you've been in Brazil, you know exactly what I'm saying. But in São Paulo, the scene is like, it's seriously crazy. I've been in Paris a few times. I've been in Amsterdam a few times. I've been in Poland. And I know the scenes over there are like healthy. But in South America, it's seriously crazy. And when I first came to Africa, before I moved to South Africa, I first went to Angola. And it's really hard for all of us that live in other places that don't have the same problems as they used to have in Angola. Like, they had no roads, man. They had no roads. Even if they would want to skate, there were no skates available. Of course, who would want to import skates if there were no roads there? So once they first had roads, skating picked up. And skate picked up a lot more than skateboarding. And nowadays, it's still healthy. What I try to say with those videos is like, it's up to us. It's up to us the way we see it. We can look at the place that we used to skate and it changed, or we can actually look at other places and try to motivate ourselves. And I keep saying the same. How do you want to bring a kid to skating? How do you want to bring a kid if you're telling him that it's dead? No one wants to start something which is dead.
Exactly.
I mean,
but it's not.
You need
it's
to be
lying.
as
You're
positive as
people.
you want, as you can. I mean, like, it's sometimes for a lot of people, and I know that I had a few messages through Instagram, and I know that some people didn't really enjoy what I said, but I hope people understand. Like, that doesn't mean that I don't love skating more than them, or that I'm a clown, or I'm trying. Man, it's I'm expressing exactly what I feel, and I respect that people have different opinions, but I also hope people understand the only reason that people end up seeing my things is because I've been putting a lot of work into that. I've been trying to build my opinion, like, not build my opinion, but make my opinion heard, if that makes sense. Like trying to bring some power to my opinion, and that's a lot of work every single day. So it's hard to explain sometimes for some people, but I respect everyone, and I understand, like, if you are like an artist, you don't want your thing to be popular. You want to do your thing, you want to do your thing on the other, and I respect that, man. Everyone have their own view, their own different way of relating with skating. And I respect also if you're in a place that skating is not the same as it used to be. But at the same time, if you keep on just bringing that negative image, you're just making it go down. But that's an opinion. Anyway, nothing to do with.
Well, the thing is, what is the same as it used to be then? We used to have to go somewhere, and I'd say, hey, Ricardo, I'm going to see you there by the square about 3 o'clock. And you would think, fucking Remy guy, always late. So, okay, he said 3 o'clock, I'm going to be there 3:30. And if he's there, then I'll wait until 4. Because things were different back then. You know what?
You would call his house, man. You would call his house and ask his parents. Yeah. Is he there?
Yeah.
Is Remy
he already
there?
Gone? Yeah. The thing is, of course, we look back and we think, oh man, back in the day it used to be great, blah 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 blah. Yeah, all right. What used to be great? Having to buy new skates every.
Hello. Give me a second. Wait. Hello. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Have you found the charger?
We're back. No, it's just like, dude. So I got this Zoom H5 recorder, and usually I connect it through USB. But today, again, I didn't have the cable, and I had to use batteries, and the batteries just ended. So for those people listening to this that don't know, we were supposed to do this on a Sunday morning, and we're doing on a Sunday evening, and we're doing this on a Monday evening because yesterday I didn't add another cable too. So anyway, do you remember where we were?
People were saying about the things were better back in the day. And, well, I don't know. I don't think so, really.
Dude, let me tell you something. Let me tell you why they weren't better. Yesterday, I skated a spot that you filmed something with Sven Boekorst in Cape Town. I think it's a hardscape, whatever. That red monument that he put a ramp and just railed up. That was impossible to do before. So don't come and tell me that skating was better. I'm sorry. Like, there would be a lot of things that would be different. There was no better. It's just like saying there's a better skater or there's a worse skater. There's no better. It's like different times. So
I always laugh when people say, Aaron Feinberg is better than all right.
No.
This is the thing. I was living back in those times as well. And obviously, the thing is, you can say, for instance, Dustin Latimer had such a great impact. But to say, for instance, that Eugen doesn't have a great impact right now, you see, how many people do you see doing alley-oop top assets and grabbing their front foot all of a sudden?
Yeah, of course.
People doing crazy, funny ninja shit. And of course, everybody's been doing everything before already, but just like you said in that in your vlog about Eugen and his gang getting 1.7 million views in 2 months, I'll tell you that there hasn't been anything with anyone that does grinding on rollerblades ever in the world
to get that amount of views.
And then to also know that Facebook is actively stifling video. It's not like it used to be a few years ago where you could put something on YouTube and it would just go. It's my hats off to Daniel for making that shit.
No, is amazing.
That's the way you get people to grind. The way you get people interested in fucking grinding on skates. Because I love the power slide and the rollerblade videos that show people having actual fun on skates and obviously doing cool stuff.
It's completely different.
Yeah, this is something. It made me want to actually go skate, even though I'm fucking jaded and old and I'm like, yeah, man, skating. I haven't been into it as much as I was when I was younger, and I'm still totally into it. But when you're younger, you're more and more into it. And
it's a different type of being into it. Now you're into it in a smart way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
you
also
think of life.
what
You
you
think
said.
of your daughter at home. It's like, yeah, I want to do the alley-oop topsoul, but I haven't done an alley-oop topsoul in 2 months, and I need to choose, or I get my daughter at school, or I try the alley-oop topsoul and I hit my knee, so I might as well just do a soul, come out clean and go get my daughter. It's a different type of skating. I'm not saying it's better or worse, it's just different.
And also, I think that if you're guys like you and I, what the hell do we have left to prove?
I guess. Yes, you do it because you want it.
It's like for the last year and a half, I've been doing a lot of weightlifting, fitness in the gym, and there's like a thing when you see people in the gym who are kind of cheating themselves and putting in their little book that they did this many reps and this weight. It's like you're cheating against yourself, you idiot. It's like skating. It's like you're not skating against anybody but yourself. And for me, I don't see a reason to fake it. And also, it's like everything you do for enjoyment. One day you're going to enjoy yourself a tiny little bit more than the next, and I'm sure that people have sessions where they do incredible tricks and still not really happy. Like, for instance, when I was filming for my 41st birthday mini ramp edit, and I got home and I was in a foul mood, and my wife was like, "What the fuck? Did the skating did it suck?" I was like, "Yeah, man, it sucked.
I didn't land these and that."
And I didn't notice this until she pointed it out. Like, "Hey, man, you're in a bad mood. What the fuck?" And obviously, we'd filmed a lot of stuff, and I started editing it. And I was like, "Oh, actually, I did land a couple of cool tricks." I was like, and then you can kind of see that what you feel is very subjective, and especially when you film it or have your friends film stuff. You're like, "All right, you actually did do some cool stuff." Right, turn that frown upside down, etc., because you're only doing this for yourself. And the fact that I didn't do a fakey 3 alley topsoul on a thing, I'm like, who the fuck cares?
You were there, you skated. I keep saying the same. The most important is that you're enjoying it, man. That's the thing.
Exactly. But I still have this kind of thing in my mind, and this is obviously coming from
back then.
Yeah, when you were just not going to leave a spot alone until you fucking owned it. Leaving blood and skin on the floor didn't matter as long as you fucking went to the end of that rail or landed the gap or did the switch up you wanted to. And obviously, none of us rollerbladers would have ever been able to land any trick if we didn't have any perseverance.
Of course,
because this is also, if I look back in the day when I started blading, there were so many people that had some talent and maybe more talent than you or I, but they didn't have what it took to stick with it. And I think, oh man, this guy was so great. If he would have just stuck with it another year, he would have been able to travel all over the world just because he was good at playing with wheeled boots. But they don't matter because they probably do other stuff. Like, for instance, Tyron is one of the most talented bladers I know, and he's choosing not to skate because he's got something else. That's a lot of fun. Well,
yeah, that's the thing, man. Usually people try to follow what brings them the most joy, wanting or not. And if you're doing something else, then there must be something wrong with you. Like if you can't choose, and if you choose something that you don't enjoy, or if nothing really makes you do it, because like if you need money and if you need to work a lot of time, that's perfectly understandable. But like if you're choosing to do something that you don't enjoy, then something is wrong with you. Anyway, do you have any other projects like the one we were talking with Sven? The City Hopper?
Well, for Sven and me, there's been enough time between City Hopper World and now that it's starting to itch a little bit again. And also, I would have thought, well, Sven's, going to be retiring. And,
that's what he said.
Yeah, but he's still killing shit.
He's too good.
He's still so good. I would like to do another thing because the thing, really, if you're if you really want to do something in blading, then you need to have like have a guy,
a talent like him.
Yeah, for instance, if you look at Erod, his guy was Frankie.
Yeah,
he could go out and film with Frankie, and it would be fucking awesome. And obviously, he has a slew of other guys. Look at Adam Johnson.
Yeah, like Daniel with Eugen.
Yeah, but if for instance, at some
it's like my selfie stick with me.
Yeah, there you go. What would your selfie stick be without you? But if you look at nowadays, for instance, look at the Elite series and stuff, you have to go out and find a blader and actually put in the work to really get that stuff done. And for me, having I don't have a steady job because for me, I just work freelance and I can do whatever I want, really.
Did you get nicely paid by Rollerblade to do that project?
Nah, well, not horribly paid. Let's put it this way: I would have made 5 to 10 times more if I stayed at home and just worked my normal corporate stuff. But then I wouldn't have been all those places and wouldn't have been able to do all that cool stuff. And I have to say that when we did City Hopper, everything was sorted out nicely. Also, the City Hopper Europe, and of course, the thing what people need to know with City Hopper is it's not just me and Sven and Axel and Niels and Sven and Timmy going out and getting stuff. The City Hopper crew is like more than 100 people, because we have a crew in Barcelona, we have a crew in Rio de Janeiro, we have a crew in Cape Town. For instance, people don't know this, but the fucking awesome aerial of Cape Town, you made them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you need to get like the locals to help the project happening, of course.
The awesome aerial shots we got in Shanghai, like a local Russian guy who lived there. We had so much help on every stop where we were.
And you ended up making a double project, right? It was not just the City Hopper, it was the City Hopper and the 80mm. So you guys ended up making everything in one, which was smart.
Exactly, yeah. The 80mm was actually paying for the City Hopper in a way.
Okay.
Because obviously it's kind of successful because we've got now more than 300,000 views.
No, there's
like
more.
No,
the City Hopper maybe, but the one from China at least, the 80mm in China, there's like I think almost 1 million.
Yeah, those are ridiculous. Especially and obviously that has quite a lot wider audience.
Yeah, it's like the skate that sells the most. 80mm is the skate that sells the most from every single brand.
Yeah, of course they are.
If you Google
best skate to play on.
If you, I don't know. I guess it's like if you Google. If you Google beginners inline skate, or if you beginner rollerblade or whatever you want to call it, it's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna say that the best skate is 80mm.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah, that was like a good thing, because when we did City Hop for Holland, we did it for literally nothing, just for fun, and we got like a little bit of money for gas. And some food and some drinks.
Yeah, but it was good for a pilot project. You could show what you could do.
Exactly. And then we did City Hopper Europe. We got a little bit of money, and then still we did it as cheap as possible because we drove everywhere, and we did have hotels and stuff. But we did everything with friends. But then City Hopper World, obviously, you can't just rely on sleeping on people's floors when you're going out with a big crew.
Dude, but what's coming next? City Hopper Moon.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
After seeing the spots, what else can he skate? It's just like
we should ask him. He's got.
He's gonna need to find an island in the middle of nowhere and just, I don't know, ride the palm trees. I don't know. They're like, after seeing the spots that I've seen, it's just They don't make sense. They do not
But
make sense.
the problem is if you want to go even bigger, then you're gonna break yourself, because the biggest trick of the City Hopper stuff, and you saw the be at the LA stop, is to not get fucking broken.
Yeah.
Because we can't just say, oh, okay, so we go to Rio, and the first trick, you're going to fucking smash your ankle.
You can't, man.
And you know what? We're just going to go and come back later. No, it doesn't work that way. So the way that he has to skate is always...
smart.
Smart, yeah. Recklessly smart.
But
because you have to forget about danger when you're doing stuff like that.
Dude.
But then again, you all think, go exactly as far and as high as you can and can still land stuff, because he's tried stuff which we, some stuff is,
that 720 corkscrew. What was that? Into the flat.
That spot is really, we found that spot really early on in our scouting, because when we went to Rio, we had the greatest crew there. Those guys, I have to give big up to Rafael Romano,
Kaleo,
to Rafa Veruca, to Renato, to the all of those guys. Rolling Sports, fucking
amazing. I know.
JP, not to forget, those guys were like fucking heaven sent. And Sven and I decided, to go there a bit early and for just pay for our own, so we could get like the extra air lapses, get everything sorted. And because we put more of our own time in, it ended up, I think, being maybe the best stop we ever did. And that place in Niterói, which is not actually in Rio, but just on the other side of Rio, across the water. And we found that place, and it's like a famous architects made it, a famous Brazilian architect.
Did you saw it online, or you went there to see it first?
I think we looked at it in Google Street View first. Because what Sven did to find stuff in countries or cities he's never been, is just Google Street View the hell out of everything. That's the way he found most of the stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's got a lot of free time, this guy. But then when we went there...
But he is a professional skater, right?
Not just in a way, he gets paid. He's played.
Okay.
So that's and he does marketing.
Full-time job.
He's in charge of I'm not sure if it's 100% full-time, because he has his own company.
I know.
SB events, Mind the Gap, and those kind of things. In the summer, he's quite busy with that as well. So not totally full-time, but that's skating as well. So you could say he's totally a professional skater, and I think the only skater I know that's been able to buy a house from the winner.
Yeah, so, because he knew where he wanted, and he put the money on the side and all that, right? From what I heard.
But back to the 7.
Yeah,
we had to pay to skate there, because this is one thing. Coming from a country which is so straight and clean and honest like Holland, I was not prepared for the level of corruption that there was in Brazil, but in a way it really helped us. That meant that no only meant yes, but it's going to cost you money. And when we first started finding out if we could skate there, they were like, European camera crew with a skater, 5,000 euro. And we were like, 5,000, fuck out of here. No, not going to happen. But Renato, who had the skate shop there, would also kind of, they paid a bit for us to be there. And he knew how things worked. And I was going around with him for 1 week to all these spots, and he would give this guy €5, this guy €1, and get in front of everything and not pay and get in front of the line, all that stuff. He talked to those guys, and he talked them down from €5,000 down to €200 and then not even giving them money, but in the end we bought €200 worth of printer cartridges because that's what they actually really needed.
Amazing.
And this is just something I was not prepared for, because normally if we find out, well, it's behind the fence and they have security, so it's not gonna fucking happen. I would just think tough. But he was like, no. But this is Rio de Janeiro. Let's go. I'm gonna fucking find a way. And this in the end we were there flying the drone and two cameras. And
how long did it took
him
to land?
Oh no, Sven does that stuff the first try.
That's one.
Yeah,
that was
really.
Another question that after I'll let you finish and then I'll put my question.
Well, no, that's really the thing for Niterói. We just had to, and actually another place where we filmed, I gave the guy some free aerial footage of some other stuff because he was like a aerial footage fanatic. We just did a lot of stuff in Brazil, which in Europe would just not fucking happen. At least not in North Europe.
I can imagine.
But,
did you flew the drone in the favela?
No, I didn't bring it. Okay. I could have, because we
maybe they would shoot it up. They would think we'd be police, maybe.
Yeah, well, I've been to two separate favelas. One was the pacified favela where
the Rocinha.
you can just go.
Favela de Rocinha, which is dangerous, but if you know someone, right?
That's the thing. We knew someone.
Yeah.
And we also went to a party in a favela called Babylon, which was not so pacified as I think. Also we were there, we were guests, and what I learned there is if you're in a favela and you're like a gringo like me, totally lily white, then especially walking around with skates and cameras and stuff, I was actually more safe there than I was on the beach or the boulevard, because all the bad guys there, they see you and they know, well, it's impossible that it's an accident that this guy is here.
Yeah.
He has to be a guest of someone, and they don't know.
He knows what he's doing, something like that.
Yeah, so probably you don't want to go and fuck with him because he might be the guest of the head guy, and if you fuck with him. And it was so strange because in the beginning, like, I've never been to a favela or anything resembling
just explain
a
what's a
ghetto
favela
like
for people that don't know what that is.
If you look in Rio, it's very mountainous, and you have a really extremely expensive real estate set right next to like the ghettoest of ghettos. And I'm talking ghetto as in buildings that people built themselves with no
all DIY made of metal and
with windows, no glass
shacks.
in the window. Yeah, shacks, and there's clothing hanging everywhere, and everybody just pissing on the street in the corners.
And the streets, some of them are like 1 meter wide, and you need to go through them. It's sketchy.
Exactly. It's sketchy as fuck. And for me, obviously we're not scared of anything, or else we wouldn't have gone there. But it's like the stupid way of not being scared, because we really were putting sort of, maybe not our lives, but at least our cameras and stuff in the hands of
you put it in risk,
buddies.
In Cape Town is kind of a place that you probably felt safe. Bontjevel, where you filmed the kid just doing that end flip in the road.
Yeah.
That's a really, really sketchy place. That region, there's a train station over there, and it's probably one of the most known train station for the gang wars, to the gangs to exhibit what they did the night before. Basically, people.
Well, this is, I think, the thing with City Hopper, because we rely on the people,
the locals.
And if this is the thing, if the locals bring you, then you kind of have a passport.
Yeah, you feel
in
safe.
a way.
Yeah.
You are allowed to be there just because you have these guys.
Yeah, of course.
And for us to be in the favelas and to be in like the what you call Bontjeval, those places.
Bontjeval, it's a ghetto. It's a favela, like the favela, just a different Bontjeval. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's same shit all over the world. But for us to come from like one of the richest countries in the world, like Holland, we have it very well here in Holland compared to those places. But in the end, it's all about who you know, and if also don't go and be an asshole there,
Of course,
because then you can have, if you're going to be an asshole, you're going to get in trouble.
But that's everywhere in the world, and you should respect people no matter where you are. So I guess that's just a rule to live. Anyway, my next question would be, I kind of like, when I look at Sven and I look at you, it's kind of like opposites, It's just like, I always thought of Sven as the most concentrated guy, like clean, that go to the event, that doesn't go out at night. The next day goes there and he's a skate machine. And then you, after what you just said, the guy that steals paint, the guy that, if it's not illegal, how did you guys work together in such a project that, I don't know, so different and so the same? I don't know.
It's kind of a hate-love relationship, with a lot of love, but also some hate. And also a thing I think probably for Sven, we've been skating together for such a really long time. And like, I have to say that City Hopper is not just my idea with Sven. It's totally 100% also Randy's idea, who's like Sven's best friend from when they were really small. So we know each other. And Sven, sometimes he could use someone to tell him to stop fucking pussing about and fucking get shit done and go out and get it. And, let's go now, you can do it. Fuck off, don't think about shit, let's go. And he'd fucking Remy, and he'd be like an old guy, grumpy, but then he would be like, okay, fuck this guy, I'm just gonna show him, here we go, bum. And we did so much stuff like that, where we would be somewhere, he would be pussying about and would get on his nerves, but also it'd be like, yeah, man, we have like, I'm holding a camera here, Axel is over there holding a camera, we have Neil somewhere, we have Timmy holding the GoPro, we're all here for you, homie, get it fucking done.
So you would basically the guy in boxing, you would be the guy slapping in his face.
Yeah, a little, sometimes. Also sometimes he needs to be, he needs to get a little hug or a pat on the back. It's just also a thing you have to know.
It's the same guy that slaps him in the face.
Yeah, the thing is, if you saw the City Hopper, what happened in LA, him fucking busting his head open. Crazy. That's like, at that moment, I'm not thinking that the whole City Hopper is going to be fucked because we can't film anything. I'm just thinking, hey, he's fucking bleeding on the ground, man. What the fuck? Does he have brain damage, or?
Yeah, of course.
Man. Are we going to be in the hospital the next 2 weeks, or can he even fly back home? So many things, and then in the end, this guy takes a week off, and he still. That's what people might not know, but the tricks he did in the LA part in City Hopper, those were kind of the hardest things I've ever seen him do, because he still had a concussion. He was skating these big fucking things, and all the while trying to land softly. How are you going to fucking grind a rail that's like 20 meters long and 2.5 meters high and land softly? But he can pull it off. But also, I have to say, this guy has more lives than a cat. There's so many times. There's in City Hopper, Holland. There's this one time in Den Bosch, his hometown. He wants to do a macchio stall on a pillar in front of a big church, and he just misses the whole. He goes over, and this thing is almost 4 meters high. And I remember when he missed it, I thought, well, this is going to be his head in the fucking pavement. And I don't know how he managed to do it, but he just turned around mid-air and landed on his feet. You know how if you grab a cat and you just toss it, and pull it up, well, he's like that. He has that kind of thing. So yeah, this must also say that we kind of know that he has this 9 lives, so we're a little bit less afraid to tell him, yeah, man, you can make it. No, it's not a problem. You've done that stuff before, and then we'd be like, I hope he doesn't die this try. But, yeah, we want. It would be cool to do something again, but it's a lot of money and a lot of time to do something outside of Europe, because literally when we did stuff in Europe, we would just, for instance, when we did Berlin and London, we would only be there for 3 or 4 days, and we could just drive up real quick and drive back. But yeah, we want to do something in Japan. That would be really cool. Land of the Rising Sun. That's like I know that he's got he's kind of got a little dream about that, but yeah, I don't know. We might want to just think of something totally different, because it's like with City Hopper, what you said, where you're going to go, the moon,
spaceship.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, and I think also it's we might have, it might have already been. But it's like what we said in the first one. There's limitless possibilities when you bring a jump ramp, because there's so much more spots you can skate that you can.
That's amazing. Okay, yeah. I'll be waiting for that one. I know it's gonna be good anyway, so I'll be waiting for that one.
If anybody has a good idea what Sven and I should film next, feel free to drop it in the comments.
That's cool.
Can be outlandish.
That would be cool. Okay, so now, just before we finish, one question. For someone who has almost 300 pairs of shoes, how many skates do you have?
Wow.
At the moment, the ones that you skate.
The ones that I skate.
We're not talking about collectibles.
Okay. I have my the rollerblades with the 125s, which I use for work. The twisters. Mm-hmm. I have my Salomons, destroying the industry one grind at a time.
What you gonna do when there's no more Salomons, man?
Skate whatever, man. No, I'm gonna skate whatever's there. Valo lights, or I think I have Valo lights. My friend Devril might still have them. Randy's little brother, and he might also still have my Aeon.
Okay.
So I have Valo light, Aeon, the Salomon ST
92.
Oh, I have. That's the one, the black one, and I also have the Feinberg, but I haven't modded them yet.
Okay.
So I have to try. Although I tried them on, and they were not nearly as comfortable as the soft boot Salomons.
I had the ST 92. It was never my thing, man. I skated them in Paris. I don't know, man. I think it was because of that the cuff that you could make it like rock, not really rockable. I think it was rockable. You could put one side a little bit bending more or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of always felt that skate was too soft for me.
It is soft, but the thing is, I used to like harder skates, but now I'm older. I'm getting a little bit
lazy.
I'm getting lazy and a little bit of a pussy. And when I put them on and I tried a true topsole, I was like, I don't even have to bend my knees this far, man. This is great.
You need to get the Vinnie Mintons. I think the Vinnie Mintons come with true spin topsoles already inserted.
Yeah, with the fucking the ugly blocks on the side.
With the shit. No, the Vinnie Mintons, did they come with a block? With a wide body?
Yeah, those were ugly, man. But what I am excited about though is I've pre-ordered obviously the Dem 709s. Them skates. I spoke to number one fashion victim in rollerblading, Robbie Pitts, for a long time.
I love Robbie, man. You know that he's gonna be He's gonna be my next skate talk.
Oh, I'm going hereby big shout out to Robbie. You sell those skates, man. Well done.
I love Robbie, man.
But I spoke with him for a while about those skates, and I spoke to John, and I love John. He's like a guy. He's always 3 weeks older than I am. And I always
he knows a lot more than you. Those 3 weeks were
fucking John is still skating. I still can't quit. And obviously, after hearing his
podcast, the Mushroom Blading podcast,
yeah, man, it was moving. And from knowing the guy also for fucking not like I'm a great friend of his, but you know, when you've seen each other in blading for over 20 years, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, he went from being like an icon and a role model to being a guy whose phone number you'd have and who'd call you when he was in Amsterdam or you know, or needed something sorting out. I just thought, those skates, I need to fucking buy them, and I wouldn't have bought them even if they if they didn't fit me. But I wore the sample pair at Winter Clash, and when I was just having a beer and talking with Robbie for a longest time, and I just kept that skate on. I was like, if they're going to hurt my foot within half an hour, and I had those shits on for like an hour, and they just started feeling better and better.
I'm really happy to see that you found a solution for Solomon.
Yeah, for sure. No, but these skates, if they're as good as I think they are, then I'm going to skate them full time, and I'm just going to have them in all black, and I will get used to the funny way they look, because this is one of the things that I think, you know, it's like the elephant in the room.
I think you're gonna adjust to it, man. It's just like every other skate.
Yeah,
I remember I used to love
We come from
Argons.
the Bauer time.
I remember I used to love the Oxygens, and a lot of people just ate
cool
on them.
No, the Argons were fucking cool. They were like big mountain boots kind of stuff. But the lacing thing with the it takes a lot of getting used to. But the thing is, when I wore them and I really pulled tight, it does really work very nicely, and the flex was good, and so and also keep in mind that the first Valos weren't that pretty, and I'm not saying that these skates they're the ugliest skates there, because they're not. They're definitely not. Especially when you have small feet like I do, they look all right. But the thing is, I have like John is a sneakerhead, a real sneakerhead as well, which you could see in all his Valo skates. And I have a lot of faith in his ability to make that skate look fucking awesome. Because obviously he's got plans to make that skate. You know, you need to have the base model down. Make sure that it skates well, like the Majestic. You know, it's like,
I'm sure that if he keeps selling, the last time I made a skate talk was with John, and if the thing keeps going the way it is going, he's probably going to be able to do his own mold the way he wants it. I'm not saying that this one is good or bad. I love what he's doing, and I said it more than once. But I believe that if he keeps going, if he keeps doing good, he might be able to do his own thing or do the changes that he needs to do or that he wants to do. Not that he needs, but the ones that he wants to do. And like you said, is proven to all of us that he has a really good taste, or he has a good taste, or he has a really good way to influence all of our tastes. So he's gonna make us like it. So no matter what he does, which is amazing.
That might be like 10% of it. But I think the fact of the matter is he knows about aesthetics. You know, the thing is he knows how to make skating look good, and I have, you know, with having held those skates, the only thing really that didn't gel right with me is the funny lacing system. And if that's the only thing, because the silhouette of the skates is nice, if you look at them from the top, it's nice. The material, the mattness, the matte finish, it's pretty good. I can see this go somewhere, and there is no reason whatsoever why these skates couldn't come with the skin.
And what frame are you gonna skate with them?
I just have to kiss my wife goodnight. Slap lekker. Okay. Slap lekker lief. What frames skates creates? Okay. Or no, I want to try the Wish frames.
Yeah.
Because I've been stocking all kinds of different sizes Cosmos. So I'm going to make a bowl setup and a street setup.
Man, you had a lot of wheels from that Roches time.
Yeah, well, actually, the only ones that survived are a pair of Hull Greens, which I'm skating at the moment.
Ooh, don't skate them, put them on the side. You're gonna be
Until
making
when?
millions on Google, on eBay.
I have work to make millions. Well, not maybe millions of rand, maybe, but not euros.
Million of cents. You can always make millions, man. Millions of fun. It doesn't matter.
The thing is, I was saving those whole greens for the longest time, and then I thought, you know what? And I'm already skating them for like 2 or 3 years now.
That's
I'm just not street skating those. I skate them in ramps and bowls and skate park. And I just figured, for who am I saving these? To wait until I'm fucking 50? No, man. Just skate them. And also, I must say that back in the day, the difference between Cosmo and the rest was so huge. But nowadays, you have so many.
Yeah, you have good wheels. You have the hydrogens. You have the undercovers. You have O.G. These 3 wheels are amazing too. So.
Yeah, exactly. I love the hydrogens and I love eulogies, and I think actually hydrogen wheels, like the first times I skated them, were the 80 millimeters, which were originally on the twisters, and I was just amazed that I could just
skate that
do
fast.
It downhill, skate that fast, but also turn on a dime. Like I literally once rode into a wall because I thought I'm going to slide a little bit, and they just took me left, like.
The grippy, but you get used to it. You learn how to slide and all that, but it just takes time. When did the grippy?
I haven't learned to slide the 125s yet because I'm a bit afraid that I'll break my ankles because my boots. I have the old twister boot, which used to be have an 80 millimeter frame.
It's good, man. It's good. My friend Greg, he skated the 125 frames on the twister, and he skated the softest frame from Power Slide, and he could do slides and stuff. The thing is,
but that's Greg. It's not me.
With a camera, you don't want to play around with a camera and 125s while you're learning how to slide. But you got it. It's just so easy. The thing is, for all of us that come from the sass slide area, like the shuffle, it's a completely different movement. Like doing a slide on wheels to a shuffle used to be. It's not a jump. It's just like a quick turn. It's a different thing.
It's more like on ice skates.
Yeah, it's more like a quick turn, and then you turn your hips and face forward. It's just it's a momentum thing more than anything else. You'll get it.
Yeah, but the thing is, to do it on very, for instance, the way Nick Lomax does them, when he's going incredibly fast, and just, it's, for me, the sliding on wheels is kind of a new thing. Well, I've been trying that for quite a few years, but after getting the hang of it, it's a fun way of doing something slightly dangerous on your play skates.
It's like challenging yourself. You know what? Before I started aggressive skating, I was like 15. I used to be a speed skater, and when I first had my first inline skates, I saw a guy, Luc Lenoir. I saw it on Eurosports, some downhill thing. And I remember seeing that guy doing a slide, kind of like skis. And my coach used to hate me, man. All my colleagues and my team, they used to hate me because, what the fuck is this guy doing? Why is he just burning the wheels, trying to slide with 580 millimeters? And I remember that I learned how to slide back then. But then I never again did slides because on aggressive skates, the boot would touch, would be a shuffle, would be completely different. And then about 3 years ago, when I got my first 125s, in the first day, I ended up getting it, but I first got just kind of like not a training wheel. I call it that Royale with one wheel, something like that. I don't remember. It's not a training wheel.
I remember seeing
something like that.
Do you remember Ivan Gagliardo?
Yes, full speed, man. Full speed.
Those guys doing downhills in the rain. That's what's the name? Was it Swiss Dressing?
Yeah, and the other guy is the one that I'm telling you, Lenoir.
Yeah, I saw that on TV, man.
Yeah, me
I
too.
remember when I just started skating. I saw it on TV. It was like, what?
That's sick. And then people forgot about it somehow. It's cool that all this big wheel thing bring it back.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think that the whole big wheel thing, it might save us.
Yeah,
or at least.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's a good thing because it's even like the 3-wheel skate thing. It's a completely different image. Even like the wizard frames, it's a completely different image. Like when people look at that, they feel like, what's that? And then they see people skating, and it's not that running on cobblestone, It's like, it looks like something fluid. That smoothness, that's what
fast.
people want to. That's why people go to ice and they want to skate. It's not because of the people that are holding on the walls on the ice rink. It's because of the ones that can actually skate and glide and all that. And with big wheels, you can. So Remy, I'm sorry about that. Basically, I just run out of battery. I'm sorry. I think we really need to wrap it up. So it's almost 11. We both have our baby sleeping and wives. I guess it's time to finish. I'm sorry, man. I went through too much battery. Next time we'll have a cable. So, cheers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I get that, man. Let's be nice to the environment and wrap it up. Too much batteries to use. Hey, thank you for the opportunity, and it was nice chatting to you again. And keep up the good work with the vlogs and the YouTubes and everything. And I'll catch you on the internet, buddy. See you later.
Thanks, man. Thank you, really. Thank you for spending the time doing this and keep doing what you've been doing because we really need more people like you. And for everyone listening to this, I'm ending this with some WhatsApp voice messages between me and Remy because just like I said, there's no more batteries. So if you guys enjoyed this one, don't forget to give us some thumbs up. Like Remy said, if there's anything that you want to know or if you have any ideas for Sven Boekorst's next project, maybe drop us a comment. I'm sure that Remy is going to be reading them, also Sven, and more people might just enjoy and get the idea. And that's it, guys. For everyone who watched it, who listened to this, and I just want to say again, thank you, and don't forget why we all started skating, because it's fun. Cheers, guys. See you soon.
Vou viver até quando